These 10 senses and the mind should be fully engaged in the Lord's service. Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. So in the next verse, Sukadeva Goswami begins to speak. So, these are the instructions of Lord Rishabdev to his sons. As Prabhupada points out here, that all the time, the whole time, he has been stressing devotional service. Now he has concluded by saying that all the senses should be engaged in the Lord's service. So as we read Prabhupada's books, we see that the point always comes back to this thing, devotional service. I remember when I first joined as a devotee, and we were reading the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I kept seeing this devotional service. So one day I went to Rupanuga and asked him, what does this devotional service mean? I thought we were practicing yoga. I joined Krishna consciousness because I thought it was bhakti yoga, not devotional. What is this devotional service? So Prabhupada explains very nicely here that devotional service means engaging all the senses. There have 5 knowledge-gathering senses. There have 5 working senses. There have the mind. It makes 11 altogether. These 10 senses and the mind should be fully engaged in the Lord's service. So this is the process of Krishna consciousness. If someone is interested to make advancement in spiritual life, this is the trick, how to get fully engaged. Engage all the 5 knowledge-gathering senses, the 5 working senses, and the mind in Krishna's service. This is the process. Not that I go someplace secluded, sit down, do nothing, and just silently meditate, or even just chant japa. There's a story about Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and one of the devotees that Prabhupada had initiated was living there at the temple, a Western devotee. He decided to go to Radhakund. Because he was listening to some of the outside Goswamis and Panditjis in Vrindavan. They were telling him that the highest situation is you go and sit in Radhakund and chant Hare Krishna mantra. So when Prabhupada heard about this, he became quite upset. He didn't like this. He quoted that Bhaktisiddhanta had said, "Oh mind, you're such a rascal, you think that you can get the adoration, the cheap adoration of other people by just going to Radhakund and chanting?" No, we have to be fully engaged, not just chanting. We have to also work. We have to engage all our facilities, all our faculties, all of our assets. Our mind, our senses, our body, our money. This is most difficult for people. Sometimes devotees will join, they keep their money hidden. They keep it in the bank, they pretend it's not even there. And they're thinking, oh, that's for me. Krishna's giving that for me. And they don't utilize their money in Krishna's service. We see this all over the world. Devotees, they're working very hard, accumulating money, but they don't use it for Prabhupada. They get a nice house, they nice car, they travel, they get nice computers and this and that, so many different things, nice clothes, wardrobe, or they just save it, save the money, because they're attached to it. Oh, I don't want to lose it, don't want to spend it. Meanwhile, there may not be any Hare Krishna temple in their neighborhood, or there's the temple that is there is struggling, or whatever. They could, even there's a huge temple there, like if you're living in Bangalore, there's a huge temple there. Still, you should utilize your money in Krishna's service. Support the cow protection, support the expansion of the mission into other cities, print books just like Hari Sori. He was Prabhupada's secretary. Servant for a year and a half. So he published 5 volumes, but he didn't finish. This is like 15 years ago he's published this book. So I wrote him, I says, when will you come out with the other? Oh, no money. So why doesn't somebody step forward? All it takes is $5,000 to publish another book. Then the whole body of devotees at present and in the future will have this nectarian information of what Prabhupada did and said and so on. We have to use our money, we have to use our intelligence, and use our family. We have to be very careful to train the family properly in Krishna consciousness so the children grow up to be nice devotees. Not that because I'm a family man or we're in a family situation, therefore we can't practice Krishna consciousness. We have to do so many other things. We're entangled in material life. No! Everything should be dovetailed and brought into Krishna's service. The family, the bank account, the intelligence, the body, the arms, the legs, the voice, everything. Prabhupada even wanted the women to dress very nicely to go out on Sankirtan and bewilder the materialistic men with their womanliness, so they would become attracted to Krishna consciousness. Everything should be utilized in the development of Krishna consciousness. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhaktir Uchate. In other words, Krishna is the master of the senses. He is the proprietor of the senses. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. That there's a field of activities, and there's the knower of the field of activities, and then there's the super knower of all fields of activities. In other words, what I'm feeling with my body, I'm experiencing. And what you're feeling with your body, you're experiencing. I cannot feel what you're experiencing, and you cannot feel what I'm experiencing. But Krishna, being Rishikesh, he experiences what everyone is experiencing. His consciousness is all-pervading. So therefore there is no secrets. Krishna knows everything. He's omniscient, all-knowing, omnipresent, and all-powerful. So we cannot hide anything from Krishna. Krishna knows what we're surrendering to him. He knows what we're holding back. He knows everything. So no sense playing games, pretending, making a good show, getting a nice silk kurta and dhoti and Vrindavan and with sash and chadar, shiny bead bag, and making a big show for the devotees. No, Krishna knows how much we're surrendering in our heart. What our assets are that we're not utilizing in his service. We have to surrender everything in Krishna's service. That's the whole meaning of surrendering to Krishna.
So that story about the guy, the devotee chanting Radha Kund, you're going to finish telling it? The devotees went to Prabhupada and said, oh, this devotee, he's only sleeping 3 hours a day, he eats very little prasadam, and he's chanting 22 hours a day. He was trying to imitate Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada said, this is not good, this is not our program. We're supposed to be engaged in devotional service full time. Not that he's not in service, but utilizing the senses, more actively engaged. And after 3-4 months, finished. He couldn't, it's artificial renunciation. He wasn't ready for that. I don't know if he blooped, but I know he just, he stopped his 22 hours of chanting. He may have actually left. So Prabhupada was saying one time, Prabhupada says, Krishna doesn't see what you give, he sees what you don't give. Like you were saying about we have to do everything, service. And people put money aside. Oh, well, I have to have some money for retirement. Or whatever. Don't give. I've had people come up with 20 cents and
all they had and put it on the altar. And here they're wealthy Hindus living in suburbia, and it's all they're going to give to Krishna.
Tell the story about the lady down the road there. She was cleaning out her house. She's a disciple of Bir Krishna Swami, and she just happened to be in Savu Savu because she was there, used to live there, but must have found some. She's going, Mataji, I'm so happy there's devotees here. She'd come, she wanted to take pictures of the deities and the children and everything. She came and she must have found the old coins, the expired coins in Fiji from before 2000 or whatever. So she put a bunch of coins on Prabhupada's feet. So I didn't bother to check. So in the afternoon, and I'm putting these, clean up everything. I look at these coins. I thought, oh, okay, I guess they're still good, like in the U.S. So I found out later that the coins are no good. You have to go to the central bank to get the money. So here it is. She came and she gives us her rejected coin that she must have found after cleaning out her place.
Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. As long as there's an opening, some enter there. That's why Rasamajari was remarking that, Vanita is fully engaged, always working. So this is the example. Always busy, busy, busy. Not that we have a break or idle time or a day off. We may change our service from one thing to another, but we never become idle. Prabhupada always quotes, idle brain means the devil's workshop. So we have to keep ourselves busy and engaged, and Maya cannot find any way to get in. And Krishna will guide us. Prabhupada will guide us. Some people think, oh, Prabhupada is gone. Now I have to get a new living guide so I can go and ask him some questions. But it's very interesting because if we ever have a dilemma or a question, we simply have to meditate on Prabhupada and ask him, what should I do? And the answer will come. Just like yesterday you asked about this Ayurvedic program, right? So I'm driving, I'm thinking, what do I say? Or what's the best thing? What should we do? And then last night I was reading, and there it was, the answer. It's amazing. I don't know if we have time, but...
Read a little bit.
Where is it? In the lull of the evening, I took the opportunity to bring a small matter to Prabhupada's attention. Rasananda Das had approached me with a letter to Prabhupada in which he sought permission to study Ayurvedic medicine. You ready for this? Are you prepared? I explained to Prabhupada that he had been a medical student when he joined the movement. Now he finds himself with no fixed service, and he was thinking that he could serve the devotees by learning the Ayurveda. Prabhupada shook his head and said if a person was serious to serve Krishna, they should begin immediately with whatever they already know, and not go out to learn something new. Because, he said, there is no guarantee. Suppose you are learning some art to serve Krishna. In the meantime, if death takes place, then if you could not learn the art, at the same time you miss Krishna's service. So that is not our principle. We want to serve Krishna. Swakarmana tam avyarchya. Whatever work you are already expert at, you do that. Why should he waste time? He knows this art, let him do. That is service. Whatever you know, Krishna can accept any service. Krishna is not one-sided. Because he is everything, so he can accept every service, anything. Whatever you know, you try to please Krishna, or Krishna's representative. See, Prabhupada is emphasizing the surrender, not the usefulness of your service. You know, someone's thinking, oh, I need to become more useful so that I can do proper service. But no, Prabhupada said, whatever your situation is, you just surrender. Serve in your best capacity in your present situation. Don't waste time putting off the service. Serve now. You know, you try to please Krishna or Krishna's representative. The same thing. Atta pumbir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagasa swanustitasya dharmasya. Whatever you know, samsiddhi, the perfection is haritoshanam. If he's a medical man, whatever little medical knowledge he has got, he can utilize it by serving. Why he should go to Ayurvedic? The devotee said he remembered Prabhupada once writing to Jadharani Dasi along the same lines. Prabhupada nodded and said, yes. I thought that when she first came, I saw that here she has got a little tendency for painting, so I engaged immediately that you go on painting, whatever you can do. So in the beginning she was not a good painter, but still I said, anyway, you paint Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, and whatever you paint, it is accepted. It is not the art, but it is the service. But I clarified that Rasananda's situation was different. His point was that he doesn't have any service. So he was thinking that if he learned something, because he already has a medical background, Prabhupada said, so let him serve in that way. If he has got a little medical background, let him utilize that. I said, yes, he wanted to branch out into Ayurvedic so that he could, Prabhupada cut in. That is his whims, he said quite strongly. That is not service. Satisfied that I had covered the topic and not wanting to bother Srila Prabhupada any further, I told him I would write Rasananda a letter to that effect. Anyway, it's interesting. It's not, we have to always apply Prabhupada's instructions and what happened with other devotees to our particular situation. It may not fit perfectly, or there may be other circumstances. But somehow the topic came up, and then I was just reading. There it was, same day, within 2 hours. So, anyway, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.